everyone, we're going to do autumn and we are going to be using some little leafy silicone molds, and we are going to be using some of the beautiful chameleon powders from Toonfish Crafts. These are the tiny Turner ones, and we've got Inferno, we have got Poison, we have got Nature, and we have got Wicker. So we've got some lovely autumn colours, but they will be very, very nice and vibrant. Now, the two moulds are, I think I got these from Amazon. That's a Katie Sue Designs one. Can't remember what brand that is, but I will put you the links for all of this down in the video description below. Now, what we're going to be doing with this is making a tray. And here is the tray mould. It's a big one. Now, of course, you could do the smaller version of this using one of the little tray. Using one of these little tray moulds that many of us have got, which is much smaller. Look, but I wanted to do a big one because this is for me, and I want to be able to use it in my... I probably have some of my terrarium sat on it. Anyway, we're going to put this to one side because the first thing we need to do is make a load of leaves. Now, we are also... Kermit's come to watch. We are also making this video as part of the Crafty YouTubers collaboration event for autumn. Let me zoom you back out just slightly. There we are. Now, what that event is all about is there's a whole load of us crafty YouTubers have got together and made a massive playlist again, all autumn themed. So any of you who'd like to have a good binge watch, then this is for you. If you look in my video description, or at the end of this video, there will be a link to the rest of the collaboration. It's Binge Watch Festive crafters from all over the world. It's the international crafters collaboration. So enjoy. There will be so much for you to see. Everybody's working on the same theme this time. It's autumn. We'll be doing Halloween soon, then Christmas, and so on and so forth. But do watch all the rest of the videos in the playlist because it's going to be amazing. I'm dying to see what everybody else does. Right, what I'm going to show you how to do, and as you can see by the state of these moulds, I've already made a start on doing some of these. Let's zoom you back in so you can really see what's going on here. I'm going to blend the colours. Now, this is something you don't tend to see so much being done, so I thought I'd show you how to do it. Now, obviously, I've already got some colour in here from when I did, because I've already done a batch, which I won't show you till the end. So I've got a bit of colour that didn't quite come off on the resin. So we've got a bit in here to start with, but let's carry on and we'll do a whole fresh batch and I'll show you how I do it. Now, first of all, these powders. They are incredibly intense, they are incredibly fine, they are absolutely beautiful. So what I'm going to be doing is just taking the tiniest little bit and going around the edge of the leaves first of all. And as you can see, there is still a little bit left from last time I did this, because I did the first batch with ultraviolet curing resin and it didn't work terribly well because these moulds, as you can see, are completely opaque and ultraviolet resin didn't cure terribly well. So that's why it's left a bit of the colour behind. Honestly, I ended up binning those. It's a shame. I need to try to replicate this mould at some point. Now, obviously, you can't go replicating other people's work, to the moulds to sell. You can't do that. And I really don't like the idea of replicating moulds rather than buying fresh ones from the suppliers. It kind of feels like cheating them out of money, but hey. For this purpose, though, they don't actually make a transparent version of this mould. And I would like one. So just for my own purposes, I may well do that. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going around the edges. Now, as those of you who've used chameleon powders before will know, whatever you put onto your mould first, so is in contact with the silicone, is what you will see, because we're working back to front here. And what I'll be doing once I've blended all the colours how I want them is we'll be backing it in black. So let's get this first batch done and then I will move over to these and I'll just be doing exactly the same. And maybe we can speed that up a bit, but I'm going to make a whole load of these because that's a big tray mould and I just want to completely fill it with leaves. So as you can see, we're just going into the edges. This colour comes out like it's on fire. It's amazing. And there is a little bit left in from the previous batch, as I said, so That's there, that's okay. Actually, I think with this one, let's get Poison on the go as well. Poison's darker. It's almost a red. So I'm going to get that into the tips of the leaves. Now feel free to fast forward this bit if you want. I know some of you will know how to blend chameleon powders. I've done videos on it before, and I'm sure some of you have already seen it. Entirely up to you, but I shall carry on and I shall keep putting the colours in. Just keep going. And if you want to hang out with me, fine. If you want to fast forward, you do that. Not a problem. So the effect I'm going for is the autumny colours at the ends, and you know how the leaves keep the green in the middle a little bit. So that's kind of what I'm going for here. Because that last bit of green really only goes quite late into autumn, doesn't it? So yeah, just a little bit. With these, because they're quite small, I'm probably just going to go into the end one side. Also, as you see, there is a bit left from last time. Because there's a danger of not leaving myself enough room for the other colours. Now, one other thing you'll notice with this mould is that the ends are open. Can you see? I'm going to have to block those with a little dot of ultraviolet curing resin. Right, we're going to go down the centre of all of these now with Wicker, which is a nice golden green that I really love. Really, really love this colour. I'm just blending it out by just going backwards and forwards with the brush, back and forth a bit, like so. And it's just going to blend it out a bit. And as you can see, we only need a tiny bit of the colour. I'm probably using more than I need to. So these little tiny pots of colour go an awful long way. They really do. These pots have lasted me for so long. Big thank you to Wendy at Toonpish Crafts. I bought a load of these, and she has also sent me a few extras to top me up when I was getting low on some of my favourite colours as well. So thank you, Wendy. Like I said, link for this will be down in the video description below. And the centre of this one. When you want to have a play with doing colours like this, because you might find that it's better to do the middle first, or the edge first, or the lightest colour first, going down to the darkest, or, you know, just have a play and see what works for you. I find it works whichever order you do it in, as long as you bear in mind that the colour that you see, the colour that's contacting the silicone is the colour that you want to see, because we are working face down. Obviously, if you're not working face down and this is meant to be the face that you're seeing, that's a whole different matter, because you can layer the colours up then, just as you would, with paint or whatever. But with these, we are working from the back. At least I think we are. Let's see what they look like when they come out. So I'm going to want some just plain green ones. Now I'm going to back the black. I'll try again. I'm going to back these with black, which is the typical thing to do. Now you could use black polyurethane resin if you happen to have that. I'm not going to, because I know in some parts of the world it's nigh on impossible to get hold of black polyurethane. So I'm just going to use epoxy, because I know that's, you can all get one form or the other of epoxy in whatever country you're in. So all I'm doing now is I'm going back over the back of them with Inferno, which is this fabulous coppery orange colour, because that will then pick up any bits, where I've missed with the other colours, with the greens and the poison as well. And the purpose of this is just to make sure, well, partly to make sure I haven't missed any bits, but also any little bits that I have missed. Let's do these tiny ones. Any bits I have missed, then we will also have, added some more of this stunning autumn colour to it. Anybody who hasn't had a look at the Toonpish website recently, where I get these from, There's a few new Tiny Turner colours out, so if you haven't looked lately, go and have another look, because you may have missed out on some absolutely beautiful new colours that have been brought out recently. Let's just carry on all round. Inferno is definitely one of my favourites. I've bought so much so that I've ended up with 3 pots of it on the go. Did I buy 2 and Wendy sent me another one? Or did I buy all 3? I can't remember. I just know it's a colour I get through a heck of a lot of. Wicker is turning out to be another one, which is this golden green. And of course anything purple. And there's a lot of purple colours in amongst the range. Both in the ethereal flakes, chameleon flakes, chameleon powders and ethereal powders. There's quite a colour range now. These moulds, this is why they're open at the end. They were intended for fondants. So they are going to be, I think, satin finish. I'll say from my failed attempt at doing ultraviolet ones earlier, it's hard to tell. Yeah, that's how badly it failed. Oh dear. Which is a shame, because it used an awful lot of UV resin, so it's a bit wasteful, really. Now, some people prefer to use a sponge makeup applicator for doing this. It's personal preference. If you prefer that, go for it, because they are very, very good for doing this with. The only thing I thought with this one, I prefer brushes to be honest, but the only thing I thought with this one is because it's so textured, would a makeup applicator brush really get in there? I'm not sure. Anyway, there we are. I hope I've come up all around the sides. Okay. And now I'm going to just chuck in some resin. So, gloves required. Resin I'm using is Apex 1 coat, which is one of these stupidly fast curing epoxies. This one is theoretically demoldable in a couple of hours, and as it doesn't matter if these are very slightly bendy still, I probably will go ahead and demold in a couple of hours. There's no reason why not. Normally, honestly, I leave it 3 or 4 hours to be on the safe side. But theoretically, yeah, it is demoldable in a couple of hours. Amazing stuff. Now, of course, as usual, I'm stirring way too fast, especially as this is a really thick resin. So I need to let it stand for a moment. But while I do so, look at all the bubbles coming out. It degasses really, really well. While I do so, I'm going to put a single drop of pigment in. This pigment is one from Vista. You can see how long I've had it. It's a tatty old bottle now, but it's a really strong pigment, so 1 drop will probably do it. And it also helps to knock the bubbles out. Pigments just always do. So I'm going to carry on stirring a bit longer, only more slowly. And you can see that's almost solid black already. Okay, that should be well mixed now. Been stirring for a good long time. As you can see, there's still bubbles coming out of it, so I'm going to let those go for a little bit, and then we'll just pour it into the back of these. And then I'm going to make a whole load more of them. Just going to keep repeating the process with different degrees of green and oranges. Darn, one thing I forgot to do is to stop the ends up, wasn't it? Oh, that was nearly messy. Right, all I'm going to do is get a dot of UV resin, put it in the end, shine a UV torch on it. Job done. Right, while that's curing, let's get some light on this. Right, while these are curing, we're going to start on the tray. And what I'm going to do with the tray is I want something subtle. And I'll probably do something similar with the background for the whole thing, but I want something subtle around the edges. So what we're going to do, and this is Apex High Gloss I'm using here, by the way, which is a more regular resin. And I'm using that because I'm going to go around here. So that's what we're doing. We're going to go around here in our tray mould. And because this is less viscous, it's a kind of a medium, I think we might do better for not getting bubbles trapped against here. So what I'm going to do colours-wise is, let's put it in the middle. Obviously I don't need much because I'm just wanting to get into this groove. So I'm going to put a dot of, this is a Let Resin colour. So a couple of dots of that. Let's see what that looks like. It's called Caramel. And as you can see, it's a lovely soft brown. We're going to put more than that. We are going to put more colour than that. A couple more drops. I still want it to be translucent because I'm going to put some foil in with it. Yeah, a bit more. Don't forget this is a bit deeper than it will be when I pour it into there. So the colour is looking more intense than it will once it's poured into the mould. A little bit more. Because this is a proper resin dye, so it'll be quite easy to do too much. So I'm just going a couple of drops at a time. Okay, I think I'm getting close. There we are. And I think that'll be enough. So, because I still want it to be translucent. And as I said, I still want to put in some foil. So what I've got here is the Spectrum. Let's put this out of the way for a minute because this foil is going to go everywhere. Spectrum Noir Flakes. I'm going to put a little bit of that one. That is the... Ooh, hang on. I choose a dotting tool to get it off. There we go. So we'll have a bit of that. See what I mean about it going everywhere? So we want a little bit of that. Get off. A little bit of that. That'll do. I don't want too much of that, and it's already going everywhere. I'll put it away in a minute. And that was from Spectrum Noir, and that, as you can see, is like a rose gold. So we're going to mix that in. And then we're going to put some Cosmic Shimmer in, because this has just got, look at that, that's just got autumn written all over it. That's Autumn Bonfires, isn't it? So I just put in a little bit of the, I'll be using a lot of this in the base as well, but I just put a bit of that rose gold in just to brighten it slightly, because we have got quite a lot of the Cosmic Shimmer and the brown. Here we go. So let's bring our mould back in. I'm wondering, is that too dark? We'll see. We'll see. If it is, frankly. There's not a lot I can do about it now, is there? So we're going to squish our little paper cup and we're going to go around. Now, don't panic. I can reuse these paper cups again and again and again, because I can either wipe that... I can either wipe them out afterwards or I can just let the resin cure and go in again. Okay, this is going everywhere, and it's because it's lumpy. I've got some left, so we're going to just carefully take this off here with a fine tip swab. So what you'll see is we've got some clear patches that are just going to be almost like amber, really, aren't they? There we go. Now what I'm going to do is just, this is a fine tipped swab, so the end is soft. It's like a micro brush, but even finer. So I'm just going to go around the edges like this to make sure I've got no bubbles are trapped around this edge. So there we are. I'm just going to put a tiny bit more in. And as I've got a load of this left, shall we do a coaster to match? So we're just going to get, actually, let's get a wipe and just tidy around the edges a little bit, very carefully, because we don't want to scratch this mould. This mould, by the way, is from Moulds and Shapes. I'm afraid I don't have a discount code for these, but I know that Petra over in Germany does. So I will put her link to get these down below in the video description, because then she can obviously be credited for the referral, but also you'll get, I can't remember what discount she's got, but I want you to be able to take advantage of that, obviously. So I'll put you Petra's link. I'll tell you what else we'll do. Like I said, I'll do a coaster to match as well. However, I've got this little jewellery mould here, and I do want to make myself another necklace. So let's just fill one of these up. Now that would be quite big for me. I don't usually do big jewellery, but let's just do it. And also, because the mould is clear, we'll be able to see what this really looks like. Let's just, there we go. Right, and I was going to do a little coaster, wasn't I? I won't use one of their posh coasters because I think it'd be a bit too big. This isn't going to be a matching coaster because I couldn't find an appropriate one. But we'll do one using the leftovers from this. I'm trying to create space. Too many projects going on at once here. So anyway, let's just, oops, I'll get that off later. Let's put this around the edge. There we go. Actually, I'm going to fill that one up because that's rather nice, isn't it? There we go. Isn't it? Okay, I'm going to stop messing about now. I will see you a lot later. As soon as that has mostly cured, it doesn't need to have 100% cured. These will be cured very soon, a couple of hours, like I said. So maybe this will have solidified enough. We can get these in. But what I'm going to need next is a layer of clear in here. Just a very thin layer because I don't want these to be right onto the surface. So that will be our next layer. Right, I'll see you in a bit when we will do that. Right, that's cured. I've got some more leaves in curing over here. They're nearly there. And look how they are coming out. Aren't they gorgeous? So I've got a big pile of those ready to go in over here, but I will have more. And I just thought we'd have a quick look and see what these are coming out like, because this will be an indication, obviously, of what the edge is going to be like. Oh, I like that. Isn't that nice? Oh, there's some more jewellery for me sorted. Lovely. Now, I'm still wondering what to do with this background. I've just asked my channel members, so Julia has suggested like a leaves falling, misty sky type effect maybe. And I thought that sounds interesting. That's got potential. But I was wondering what would happen if I just did more of this. Would it get lost? I'm just loving this brown. So I don't know. Hang on, let's just see. Oh, that's nice without any detail in. You know what? Are they going to get lost in that? If I then put something behind it, I think they are if I do too much of that, aren't they? It'd be subtle though, wouldn't it? See, if I put something behind it, something lighter, like a cream colour maybe. Should we do that? I'm kind of liking this. So, yeah, gloves time. What I'm going to do is put a thin layer of clear in, and then we'll put our first layer of leaves in. It doesn't have to even be a complete layer. I just want to get a bit of clear between the leaf and the silicone. We don't even need to completely cover the leaves either. I just want to let that cure. Then we'll put our final batch of leaves in, just so we've got a very slight height difference. You see where I'm going with this? Right, gloves. Going to have a problem in a minute because I've run out of. These are the last of my gloves out of that box. Don't know what I've done with the other box. Have to go rummaging. Right, mask on. Let's get some resin sorted. Okay, so here we go. We're just going to. It's got squashed. We're just going to pour in a thin layer as usual. I've managed to get it full of bubbles. Thank goodness this degasses well. So very thin layer, and while that's levelling, I'm actually going to dunk the leaves, and I think I'm going to put the bigger leaves to the back. So we're going to dunk the leaves. This is where it gets messy. And this is just an attempt to try not to get bubbles under them. Whether it will work or not, I don't know. I'm working on the basis that if we do get bubbles under them, it'll just end up looking like raindrops. I'm dripping everywhere. I'm going to put one, especially as I've dripped on it already, I am going to put one of the bigger leaves in the foreground. There's not going to be a great deal of depth difference anyway. It's just, it's going to be subtle. I don't know whether I'm going to use those last ones now, actually. These are bigger than I thought. Oh, one thing I have done, I don't know if you've noticed, is I've snapped off the little bit of UV resin that was being the little stopper at the base. Yeah, I'm wondering whether I'm even going to need all those other ones. Might make jewellery or something out of those. Don't know. We'll see. But I want to kind of 3D it a bit. Could have done this with tweezers, couldn't I? This is more fun. Got to get mucky at times, haven't you? And as you can see, there's no rhyme nor reason to where I'm placing them. I can always slide them around afterwards. But the intention with this really is just to get that thin layer underneath the leaves. You can probably see the bubbles that I introduced by stirring too fast as usual are all starting to pop already. Just going to try and go a bit random with these. So this is, as you can see, just clear resin because I am still thinking on this background. I'm thinking maybe more of that, pale and a lot less glitter than I've done around the edges there. You know, kind of more like the centre of this one, this coaster. I'm going to do a bit of sliding around. I definitely needed gloves for this one, didn't I? Like these little ones, the resin that's on my glove should be enough. I'm picking them up with it, so that should be enough to get resin underneath the pieces. I've still got half a mind to do this second layer. I do want a lot of leaves, an awful lot. I don't want too much like blank space. I'm going to go out to the edges, by the way. I'm going beyond that line. Or I will do ultimately. So there might need to be a bit of sliding around yet. That one needs building, doesn't it? Because it's a big one. Now, I'm going to just put this last little bit in. And then whatever I decide to do, because I've still got a big leaf left here, and these. So I think what I'm probably going to do is I will put a bit of a second layer in. Still got a bit of depth left. This mould is quite deep. I'm just going to leave this now, I think. It doesn't need to cure completely. So I'm trying not to scratch the mould. These are high-end moulds, so they're exceptionally beautiful, exceptionally lovely to work with. But of course, because they're not the cheapest of moulds, you do want to be that bit careful about not scratching them. So I'm going very gently with my stick. And I can see the resin hasn't gone right up to the edges, so I'm just going to encourage it, because I would like this clear coat to be fairly even and go all round. So I'm just going to tease it out. I'm going to leave that now. I'm going to have a clean up. As soon as that is mostly cured, then we'll come and finish it off. And I promise I'll have made a decision by then, okay? See you later. Okay, so we've got some more resin mixed up, and it is the same mix as I poured around the edge, just with a lot less of the colour in it. And hopefully less of the sparkle. I don't know, I went a bit mad. Anyway, we're going to put this layer in, and then we're going to lower, and I've only got one glove, so I'm going to be doing that with tweezers. We're going to lower our leaves into it. I've got some more gloves on order, can't find the last stash, so I'm just having to be very, very careful at this point. That layer's in. I'm just going to have a quick run over it with my long neck lighter, because I'm going to struggle. I'm not going to be able to really dip these quite as successfully as I did previously, I don't think, at this stage. So I want to make sure we're as bubble clear as we can be, considering the stupid way I stir. Should be okay. I mean, this resin degasses really well anyway. It's just if I manage to trap any of these, any air under the leaves. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to in and out like that. So hopefully that will have coated them. And then we lift them up and we drop them in again from an angle. I mean, there's only a few of them anyway, and if there is an air ball, they're going to be behind the other pieces anyway. So hopefully, if there are any air bubbles, they won't be obvious. And if they are, we can just say they're raindrops. Hey, why not? Right. You know what? I really thought I got another pack of gloves in stock somewhere. Where the hell have I put them? The little ones again, I'm not too panicky about getting bubbles under them because they're so small. But I don't think any will get trapped. Now, what I might have to do is a final back coat, just to smooth it off, because these are all going to be kind of exposed, aren't they? So I will do, by which time my gloves will have arrived. They're due to arrive this evening. I just haven't got time to wait. So, as you can see, not contacting the resin with my hands. Don't do this at home, children. Yeah, so by the time my gloves arrive, in a few hours, then this should have cured to the point of being really quite firm, and I'll be able to do that back coat just to top it off. It's just a final seal really, although I am finding I can push these down quite well. The resin may well come up over them, but I will be doing a back coat anyway. And I don't know what to do in that back coat, whether just to keep going with this smoky effect or what really. Or maybe to put something like a pearl effect behind it. Dunno, still thinking. I'll go back and see what my member's thinking in a minute. I don't usually run out of ideas and have to ask other people, but this one has kind of stumped me because these leaves are so pretty. I don't really want to kind of lose them, if you know what I mean. Anyway, I'll see you in a few hours, and we will be all systems go again, hopefully. Just to put that back layer on of what I decided. What would you do at this point? I mean, obviously it's going to be too late by the time you see this, but if you'd been doing this, what would you have done on the back? Maybe once I've turned it over, you'll have more thoughts on that, but I don't know. Let me know what you think, and I will see you later. Well, I've just come back to check on it, and they've pretty much all sunk anyway. So I don't think I'm going to need a backing coat, which has put a slightly different complexion on what to do with the back of it. I think what I might do is just get something and drizzle through it. And I'm thinking I have got some powders that would be really nice for that. Rose gold stroke green. That sounds appropriate, doesn't it? And this is a chameleon powder from Nick Pro. So I'm still struggling without gloves. I'm going to have to be... I'm so sorry for people. This is a stupid idea. I know. I'm trying to be careful. But what I'm going to do is mix a little bit of that up with some alcohol, just like that. And we're going to put in just a bit of alcohol. That's pretty, isn't it? And I'm going to get my little fine tip swab and go like that through the surface. You see? So there's just the odd little bit of sparkle on the back. Nothing excessive, nothing overpowering. It's just going to put that tiniest little bit of sparkle all across the back. Now, if I wanted it to stay in streaks or blobs, I could have waited for the resin to cure up more, of course. But I think this is kind of what I wanted. See how it's spreading? It will still be patchy. That's the idea anyway. With the amount I'm putting on, I might as well have just poured it on, mightn't I? Should we do that? I think this will just sit on the surface in patches. Isn't it beautiful colour? Anyway, it's done, rightly or wrongly. Now I'm going to let that do its thing for a bit while I clean up and go and have another go at finding these darn gloves. And I will see you in a few hours. Okay, I probably should have left this till morning, so we haven't got all these annoying artificial light shines. But anyway, it's cured. And I wanted to go for it. So loosening off, yeah, well cured. I can see I've got a few little edges I need to trim off, by the way. What you do to trim those off? Sorted. If it's still sharp, I can go around with it with a file or a deburring tool or something like that. Anyway, let's get this little blighter out, shall we? Quite excited about this now. I don't think I've done anything quite like this. See how the back's gone? Like it's gone like spider webby. Isn't it lovely? Here we go. I didn't think that was going to go then. So, back lovely. You can see the colour on the back of the leaves where some of that chameleon powder lifted as well. Oh yes, I'm pleased with that. I am so pleased with that. Let me find something white to put under it. Oh, hang on. A scrap of paper. I'm going to need to get this in daylight, aren't I? I love the subtlety of that. That is lovely. Well, people, if you've liked this video, you know, there's a couple of things you need to do now. You need to give me a thumbs up. Of course, I really appreciate that. And if you subscribe as well, then you'll know when I'm doing something else funky like this. And also, don't forget, this is part of a mass collaboration. There are so many talented artists joining in with this international collaboration. So please do go and check out the link. The collaboration playlist link will turn up here any moment now. So go have a good binge watch, get yourself a cup of tea or coffee and sit down, put your feet up and enjoy all the crafty videos. And I'll see you again soon. Take care, everyone. Bye.
Falling leaves in golden glow, crafting magic, let it flow. Resin clear and sparkles bright, autumn tray in candlelight.